Welcome, Drena. Drena, you're not a stranger in this house. This is like the 4th time you have come to my live stream.
Yes. I enjoy myself every time
Yeah.
I'm here. Sometimes, you know how I always say, I'm watching from the TV, so I can't leave a comment.
Yeah.
But you have my full support. I hit the thumbs up. I catch it on the watch back. And a lot of times, more times than you'll probably realize, I will follow along with your yoga and just not recording, you know, just to get that wholeness and get those stretches in and try to push myself to a certain limit, but not beyond my limits, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. But I mean, I always appreciate what you do, and you know, you have always been very committed, even in stuff such as fitness. But just a quick introduction, maybe to my community, because it keeps changing, it keeps growing. Maybe somebody who doesn't know who Drena is. Who is Drena? Where is she from? You know, just a quick introduction, you know, for people to connect to you. I'll just put you on a quick solo layout for that purpose.
All right.
Yes.
Center stage. Okay. For those who don't know me, which I think you all do, but for those who don't, my name is Drena, and I dropped the A to make it easy, and it's just Drena, Drena, not Dreama. I dream of Genie. You know, I get it all. And even when I had, when I was using the A in front of my name, I would get Adrian, Adriana, you know, Adrienne, Adrianizzle, whatever. I answer to them all. However, I'm just Drena, and my channel name is Drena's Haven 916. I was born and raised in the Bay Area, which is Oakland, California. And my dad lived in Sacramento all of my life. So I traveled back and forth, you know, to visit him. And after about maybe 20 years ago, I decided to move fully to Sacramento, brought my kids out here and to look after my dad. You know, we only have one set of parents, and I love my dad. He loved me. I'm the only child. Well, I had a older sibling. He passed away. He was Clyde Jr. And I came here to look after my dad and just explore new opportunities, because I think it's important that we always continue to reinvent ourselves. There's so much going on outside of your circle. And when you grow outside of your circle, then you might need to find another circle. You might have to take that leap of faith. So I did that, moved to Sacramento, been out here 20 plus years. I started a nonprofit organization, Alternative Life Solutions, where we help people kickstart brand new lifestyles, doing room and board and care, being a care provider, caring for the most vulnerable in my community. I think that's very important. What are you doing in your community? Understanding what my purpose is. My purpose is to help other people, because I'm blessed, right? You see my shirt, blessed? I'm blessed, but it doesn't stop there. I'm blessed to be a greater blessing to others. And, you know, whatever that might look like, it may look different for other people, but for me, it's in the ministry of help. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a preacher or evangelist. I'm just one person telling another person where to get the breadcrumbs.
I love it. I think that's a very detailed introduction. So, Cali girl, like born and raised in California. I literally thought maybe you moved from another state and stuff. That's like really amazing. And I'm so sorry. And I'm sorry about your sibling. May his soul continue resting in peace. You mentioned kids. These are like probably your life now. How many kids? If I may ask.
Absolutely, I have 3 biological children.
Oh, wow.
And I had 4. One passed away. He only lived 30 minutes old, and his birthday was actually yesterday, July 4th. He would have been 30 years old. He is my guardian angel. So the 3 children that I do have, 2 they are adults. They have their own lives, their own families. And you've all seen my son, where I have shared his children, my glam babes. I call them my glam babes. So yes, I'm not a grandma. No, I'm a grandmother, but I would rather them just call me Glammy. You know, I'm cool with
You're
that.
a glamma.
Call me Glamma. Call me Glamma. But yeah, so I have one teenage daughter. She's the last of the Mohicans, and she is 14 years old. You all have seen her, Sade. I feature her on my videos. I've, shared her doing her sporting activities, joining a sorority. She's a straight A student, and she's just absolutely.
Nice.
I love her. She's absolutely beautiful. But check it. She's 14. So all of you all who have tweens and teens, you already know she's coming into the change of life, and I'm respectfully going out of the change of life. So just imagine how many times we butt heads. But at the end of the day, that's my road dog. I love her very much. And then I am engaged to an awesome man. His name is Curtis. Wow. You all may know him by Dirty Weather 916. Recently on 60 Days In. So if you see his profile, it may say Clydell from 60 Days In, aka Dirty Weather 916. So he's very supportive. We have a tight-knit family. It's just me, him, and my 14-year-old daughter. So we're starting a new chapter in our lives, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful for the ups and the downs, smiles and the cries.
I understand. I know. I was just like, okay, she almost went there. One of the things that just stood out from that introduction is loss. We've all gone some loss for one reason or another. So you mentioned you lost your sibling. You're from a single parent family, and then you lost your baby, an angel, who's would have been 30 yesterday. I saw that post on Instagram. That could have probably not been easy, especially losing your sibling who is like really your blood, like your blood, and even your baby, 30 minutes or even. And it's interesting, you just did a play there with us. You only lived for 30 minutes, 30 yesterday. So it just came to me there, wow, there was something about that number. So how did you bounce back from that? And, because, it's always very hard to process things like loss.
It really is. And at the time I was young. I was probably, in my very, very, very early 20s. And it was hard for me to process because the way that it happened, long story short, it was medical malpractice. I went into preterm labor, and it was never pointed out that I was actually in labor. And when I went to the hospital, they treated me for an infection an alleged infection, which it actually turned out that there was no infection. So I was very young. I was not knowledgeable. And the doctors came in and said, "You're about to deliver." And I'm like, "Deliver what?" They say, "You're about to deliver this baby. He's not going to live. We need to sign this paperwork so that we won't resuscitate him." And understanding that in my mind frame, I'm in pain, I'm in labor. No one ever told me I was in labor. So I had to deliver him. And after I delivered him, they put him in my arms and let me, spend time with him until he took his last breath. I do believe that we all have a purpose to be here in this earth and this time frame that we're in, and I do believe that in that 30 minutes he served his purpose, whatever his purpose was to be in this world. He served his purpose, and then God called him home. Grief. Did I have to go through a grieving process? Absolutely. Being young, I don't 100%. Know what grieving looks like.
100%.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, grief.
So it's a whole different video, but grief, there's the 5 stages of grief, and they don't necessarily have to go in that order. So I went through denial. I went through anger. Yeah. I went through acceptance. I went through all of those, and they bounced around. And here we are, 30 some odd years later, and I still have, I can still sometimes feel a lump in my throat. But at the same time, I couldn't not let that keep me stuck, because the one thing was said to me at that time that I will never forget, and I'll move on. Someone told me, "You're a sadist." And I'm like, "What do you mean I'm a sadist?" What does that even mean? And it was said that you want to be sad. You
Wow.
want to be depressed. And I
Mm.
thought that was I
Does
thought
that
that
mean, yeah?
was ironic, because I'm the one that carried that child. I'm the one had to deliver him. He has a name. He has a birth certificate. He has a death certificate. He has a
100%.
burial site. We had a ceremony for him, a casket about as large as a shoebox. He is buried next to my brother, my
Yeah.
sibling that passed away. And I had to come to terms with, okay, that happened, and now what? I'm
Mm.
young. So I had to continue with life, understanding that I will see him again. I believe that. That's my belief. I will see him again. Was it disheartening?
100%.
Absolutely. Did I try to seek, you know,
You will.
legal
100%.
assistance? Absolutely.
Mm.
But you know what? Some things we have control over and some things we don't. And that's
Mm.
just something that at that time I didn't have control over. So I had to focus on what I can control. And God blessed me with 3 additional beautiful children. And it was all for a reason and a purpose. And if I can't understand it, guess what? I will ask my creator when I meet him face to face. How about that?
Yeah. Wow. I see
Go,
Black
are you
Money at
frozen? Oh, okay.
at Drena's house. So thank you so much, BMC. BMC is actually our yeah BMC is our connect. Probably I met Drena through BMC and that space, so it's always
Yeah, shout out Black Money.
to be on how you know whether you went through that, the legal thing, and I'm sure we all go through that stuff. You try the best you can, but he was gone, and I like how you saying he was a person who had come to this world and serve their purpose. So and everybody is allowed to take their time and grieve as they want, before they find that healing. And that comes maybe to our next point of conversation. One of the when I approached you to come on this panel, you are very strong.
It looks like Gogo is buffering. You're buffering. So while he's buffering, he'll come right back. So now he's left me. Classic. As Gogo was saying, having to go through that process and transitioning from being that little girl who was hurt, or young woman who was hurt, and how to moving forward, even in my midst of adversity. I had to be mindful and, like I said, focus on what I can control. Focus on what you can control. One thing that I think is very important, you all, is that we have our physical selves, right? We have our emotional being. We have our spirit man, and we have our soul. And I think it's very important to cater to all of them equally. Every day, something is going to happen in your life. Every day, something is going to happen to the people in your life. In those times, we have to remain strong. And when you're not strong, it's important to have people around you that can hold you up. You know what they're called? They're called armor bearers. If you've ever heard of an armor bearer, if you've ever been to a church function and you see the pastor, and the pastor has deacons and associated ministers, officers, and things like that. They are there for a reason. They're there for a purpose. They're there to hold him up, to have his back. So when you're going through life changes and daily hassles, and you have someone that's there for you, or a community of people to have your back, that's very important, that you are able to lean on someone, to fall back on someone. But everybody don't have that. So what do you do when you don't have someone to fall back on and to lean on in those times of adversity, those times when the storms are raging? Because we're all either going into a storm, in the middle of a storm, or coming out of a storm. The important thing is that you keep standing and not give up. Thank you for coming back. You left me. You left me all alone, Goga. Are you there now?
I yeah, I'm here. In case I drop off, just carry on. You can be peeping at the questions or something. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Okay, yes, but thank you so much. I'm glad you carried it on. I don't know that you got my question, or I don't know at what point I dropped off.
I just kept talking about
a first question. All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. So I was going to. Yeah, I was saying that you're very big on self-motivation. You're very big on affirmations and stuff like that. So my question was, what motivated you to embark on that path of cultivating like inner fire of self-motivation, and just because you're very big on it, and that's one of the content frameworks that drew me to your channel when I first interacted with your channel last year. So what really made you embark on that journey?
That's a very good question. We don't plan out what's going to happen to us, the good and the bad and the ugly and the indifferent. We can be going down one path with our own goals, and our short-term goals and our long-term goals. And then the next thing you know, life will throw a monkey wrench. And then it's like, pew, now you're going down this street. So how do you transition from having your plan? You got your plan, you did your Kanban board, you did your, what is it? The boards that we do. Help me. When you write your goals out, we write our goals out.
Vision board or something.
Yes. So things don't always go like that. Things don't always happen like that. So I had to learn
the vision board. Yeah.
The vision board. Thank you. We have our vision boards. Things don't always happen and occur in the order that we want them to happen. So for me, I had to learn from a very, very early age, from a child. I grew up in my mom was a single mom, and she had, 2 girls and 2 boys. My older brother, he passed away of a drug overdose. That left me being the oldest child. I was a very quiet child. There was, domestic violence and abuse in the household. And before my younger sister was born, it was just me and my mom. And one thing that she did, and I thank her, she actually is visiting today from the Bay Area. That's for you all, that's probably about a 2-hour drive. And she's older now, but she's visiting me for the holiday weekend. And I love and appreciate my mom so much. But one thing that she taught me when I was a child, because I was always afraid as a child. I was just always afraid of things. I was afraid of people, because I saw the damage that people could do to you physically, because there was violence. I had to witness that as a child. And so she taught me to pray. She taught me how to pray, and she taught me how to allow my Creator to speak to me, and that is through His Word. And so that is why I share the morning devotional. It may not be for everyone, right? You don't have to be a religious person, but we do things religiously, right? We religiously every morning we have our coffee.
But
Religiously every
it's
morning
something.
we have
Yeah.
our rituals, right? But
Yeah.
it's deeper than that. It is your relationship with your creator, my relationship with my creator, my spirituality,
Yeah.
right? Because if my spirit man is strong, then I can resist the other temptations that could have taken me down many different paths.
Yeah.
So as these things start occurring in my life, I always had an anchor. So that is very important. And so that was important to me to find your anchor, Adrena. And when things seem so chaotic and I don't know to turn left or turn right, look up or look down, just stand still and anchor yourself. Anchor. What do I mean? Anchor myself. Go back to the point of when I had peace or when things were so not chaotic.
That only that
Find that place.
verse that teach them. Yeah.
You were choppy. I didn't hear you.
The anchor. Interesting how you got that from your mom at early age, and that. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hold. I think I lost my connection. Drena, can you hear me now?
You're here now. Yes.
I was just saying.
You're frozen again. So we're talking about finding that space where you anchor yourself and going back to Okay, sorry about that. Yep, Gogo will come back in just a second. But I was talking about finding that place. If you could remember and think back before the chaos started, before you had to deal with the hassle or the life change. If you can find that space by anchoring yourself, taking time out for yourself, focusing on yourself, and bring yourself back to a point of, it's almost like, consider your computer's going crazy, right? It's not responding. You Control Alt Delete, go to Task Manager, and you start closing out applications. And sometimes that doesn't work. So then what do? We may have to do a hard boot, right? We have to shut the computer down and restart it. So that's what I mean by anchoring yourself and getting yourself back to a you were before the chaos started. You're back? Having a little connection issues. It's okay. Let me see. Check the comments. So Gogo gets back to us. Joyful Julie. SM Tutorials. Mama's World. Thank you all for tapping in. And if you are on my side, then you are communicating in the comment section. Really appreciate you joining in this morning. So Goga, I was talking.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No. So now, just like reinforcing what you said about that foundation, and it's interesting because they always say when they are young and they can never depart away from it. That's what I wanted to add. Before we continue. Yeah. So yeah, that was my thought before I moved on. But I think I get you've kind of answered me, unless there's something you want to add.
I did want to add that in my everyone's situation is different, right?
Yeah.
For my situation and how I got to the point where I am today, where I can anchor myself and I can find, calm
Yeah.
and clarity and concentration. Everyone doesn't have that, and I wasn't born with this mentality. I had to go through some life changes. I had to go through some things in order to get here. There's a lot of things that happened in my life. There's a lot of things that happen in your life. It's not what happens to you. It is how you manage it, how you react to it. And I'm going to just go back, tell you a snippet of a story. And I'm going to drive the point home. When I was just a teenager, I was in a relationship with a man. He was much older than me. My mother did not consent to this relationship.
Okay.
And he was murdered. And I was 16, 17 years old. He was murdered.
Yeah.
And I remember my aunt and my uncle sitting me down and telling me, Drena, this is the point in your life where you have to make a decision. You can either go left or you can go right. This can either make you or break you. And in this moment, you need to choose what that's going to be and what that looks like. And so I did have family support that guided me through that process. So circling it back, once again, we don't all have that type of support. When you don't have that type of support, you have to utilize your resources. You have to reach into your tool bag and utilize what you know to be true and what you know to be good, what you know to be lovely for yourself. And it all starts with your mind, how you think. Because how you think and what's in your mind and what's in your heart is going to come out of you. And what comes out of you is going to be around you. So first, you're going to start within, right? Start within. What does that look like? It looks like motivating yourself. Self-affirmations. There was a time, please believe me, I had sticky notes all over my mirror, my vanity mirror, because my self-esteem had plummeted. Pew! And I didn't feel like I was, worthy. My self-esteem plummeted. My self-worth plummeted. My self-efficacy, how I thought about how the world thought about me. And sometimes, even to this day, at 52 years old, I still struggle with, I have those battles. I still struggle with, how am I feeling about myself? How is the world looking at me? How can I reinvent myself? How can I stay relevant? Because I have children, first of all. I have one that's looking up to me, hanging on to my every word. So I'm not just living for myself. And even if I didn't have children, even if you don't have children, and you have a social media platform or any type of platform, how are people looking at you? What message are you putting out into the world? What do you want to be remembered as? All of that starts here. How you think.
It's true.
How you think, your self-perception. And you want to have to find a way, and that is what we're here for, right? That is why I like to be motivating on my channel. I don't ever want to be a discouragement to anyone. I want to be an encouragement, right? Who wants to be a discouragement to people? Not me. So I have to...
No one is looking for, of course, to discourage them 100%. Wow. And I like how you gave the context of, where and Gorex has actually summed it nicely about how some of the things that we go through actually now shape our worldview
Mm-hmm.
and how we approach things. I
Yeah.
think that was very important.
Yeah.
Which you kind of answered my second question, because that was technically what I was going to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe the next thing then I would maybe want to know, like, because you talked about a lot the inner motivation and why you have to keep being an encouragement and stuff like that. But then we live in a society where we also have to deal with human beings. We have to deal with people.
Yep.
And sometimes even when you're trying to like motivate yourself and just power yourself through whatever you're going through, you find there are always people who become a hindrance. So maybe they become
Right.
like they suck your energy, they discourage you, and that comes into the space of energies. And people I think 3 weeks ago we had Coach Merima here, who was telling us that we need to be doing energy audits of the people we interact with. Yeah, she said something very profound, like we need to be carrying out energy audits at the middle of the year, just to take stock of the kind of people you need to get rid of your life. She was very blunt on it, but she said you need to do an energy audit. And then my question then will be, do you have any practical tips or techniques that my community who is here, that they're watching, that can help people tap into that inner motivation and maintain that high level of energy even in the face of discouragement? Because I have to deal with family, I have to deal with the dog when I get out of my door here. How do I still sustain that motivation, and how have you managed to do it and still keep that high level of energy for your kids, for your partner, for your community, because you work with the community? How do you keep that energy on?
Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
I have to think and imagine myself. I have to imagine in a particular situation with particular people who suck the oxygen out of the room and make you want to explode. But if you're a person like me, I tend to implode.
Yeah.
Try the spirit by the spirit. So when we talking about the energy and positive energy and people who you allow into your circle, you have to reevaluate. Just like Coach Mary said, you have to do a an energy check, every so often. I would consider that, or recommend doing a daily audit of the energy and the people who you allow around you, the phone calls that you allow to accept. I don't typically miss phone calls. I just look at them, because you're not going to steal my energy. You're not going to steal my joy, because first of all, you didn't give it to me. There's a difference between being happy and having joy. Happy times come and go due to life circumstances. Things happen. But when you are conscious that you have joy deep down inside because you've experienced it before, when you have that joy, sometimes you have to reach down and pull that joy out and think of one thing, if not many, but just at least one thing that you are thankful for. Whether it's you woke up and was able to put 2 feet flat on the floor. You woke up this morning and you have breath in your body. You woke up this morning and you have a roof over your head. Even if you're houseless, whatever your roof might look like, it may look like a shelter or a tent, or you're renting a room or a boarding care, whatever it looks like for your situation, you're going to find that, anchor yourself there and find your peace there. Because I done went from peace to broken pieces and back to peace again. And it bounces all over the place. Let me tell you, I suffer from anxiety, right? And sometimes things will come up such as Goga just reached out to me and asked me to come on his panel. Trust and believe. The enemy was like, yeah, you ain't gonna be able to do it. You're not gonna be able to do that. You're not gonna be able to talk for no hour. You know, like all of these negative thoughts kept coming in my mind all the way up until the point where I was gonna be like, okay, no, I can't do it. Today's not a good day. I had to, you know, get myself to a space and picture a stop sign, right? Close your eyes, picture a stop sign, and tell those thoughts to stop, because you can. All the affirmations that I put on sticky notes all around the mirror when I was going through the toughest times in my life, when I didn't think I was going to make it through the next second. And when I say next second, I mean literally didn't think I was going to make it through the next second. I had to anchor myself. Stop. Take a breath. Imagine if you do this, what could happen? Imagine if you don't do it, what could happen? And then make the choice.
Yep.
So I chose today to not cancel, to not say, not going to be able to do it. No, just do it. Just do it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I'm not a scholar. It's not a pass fail, you know?
Exactly.
So I have to have an attitude of non-judgment. That's important.
Yeah.
Having an attitude of non-judgment when you're dealing with people who are negative Nancy's or what have you, whatever you name them, having a non-judgment. And I tend to, and I say this to Curtis all the time, look beyond people's faults, right? And meet them at their point of need. They're putting up a front. It's called a schema.
Yep.
We want people to see us in a beautiful, brilliant light.
100%.
We don't have a care in the world. Everything is just rainbows and butterflies and a walk in the park and a stroll on the beach.
Yeah.
Baby, it's called denial. Don't even know I am lying. Okay. So once you can get past that and not have an attitude of having an attitude of non-judgment, and understanding that it's nobody's fault, it just is. Protecting your energy, protecting yourself from the negative. Social media there's so much going on. Literally, I don't even know how our brains can keep up with it. You have to have a place of solace, and sometimes that place is within, so that it's just stopping, thinking, taking a breath, imagine, and then choose. What's the worst that could happen?
I like that. I like the choose bit, because you said, what's the worst that can happen? And sometimes you just have to show up. Alisa is like laughing, like, yes, just do it. And then I just noticed, Drena, that your shirt is written blessed, and you know we have blessed on the chart. There's blessed mom on the chart, and so it's like it's so interesting to see blessed. And so anytime I say blessed, you may be thinking I'm talking about Drena's shirt, but there's also blessed on the chart. Trina's motivation is here. Trina is also an amazing queen of motivation. She likes giving some very amazing affirmations as well, daily, around 4 o'clock my time. I'm normally at work when she's doing her live streams. And then she says, I like that too, Drena. What's the worst that can happen? And then Samantha from Jamaica says, that's right, just do it. Just do it. Yeah, just do it.
And we're gonna fail. We're not, if we're not making mistakes, we're not learning. When I used to be a trainer, right, a senior training manager, and one of the things that one of the rules in my class was make mistakes. You gotta make your mistakes so that you can learn from them. 100%. If you're not making mistakes, I do not know how in the world you are learning. Are you obviously living vicariously through Kim Kardashian and her family? I don't know what you're doing. But you gotta make some mistakes. How many times did M&M's file bankruptcy? Obama had to bail out the whole banking industry, right? People make mistakes, corporations make mistakes, and that's what makes us bigger, better, stronger, and faster. And surrounding ourselves with communities such as Yoga with Goga, Drena's Haven 916, The Bud Files, Black Money Court, and the list goes on. And if I didn't say your channel don't charge it to my heart. You surround yourself, with people that can motivate you, that can level your game up. If you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to find another room.
Yep. I love that.
Yeah.
I've had that before. Yeah, like you need to actually find another room because it means there is no further growth here. Technically, you just said something there that I wanted just to circle back on, because you mentioned something about community and how and how you work with the community based on that organization. I just wanted to find out more about this and what is really the nature of your engagement with the community, because working in the community is normally not an easy task. And in yoga parlance, we call it karma. Karma is like service, being in service of the community. So how do you navigate, especially the intricacies of a group setting? People are coming with different worldviews. There are people who are always very negative. Again, it goes back to that energy aspect. So how do you navigate your community work? Because people who are watching me, most of the people on the chat here, they are content creators. This is a community. You deal with the community daily. I have to wake up here. I'm like, oh, geez, I need to check my Filipino community. I need to see my community. How are people doing? How is Latoya doing today? How is Ginos doing? Has she eaten chicken? What is she angry about today? Things like that. So how do you navigate those dynamics, especially being a community leader?
You know what? You said something very powerful, and that is check in. Checking in. Check in with yourself. Make sure you're good. And then checking in with other people. My story is not the same as everyone else's story, right? So the way my path led me is, there was a point in my life where I obtained my degree and I was on the path to doing, big things. I had goals for my life, had a family to provide for. And I've always had the ministry of help, even as a child. I just wanted to help. Want to help. My mom's cooking in the kitchen. Get out the kitchen. I just want to help. Can I polish the furniture? Can I clean the mirrors? Can I vacuum the car? I just wanted to help. So I've always been a helper. And the way that my path led me is, it's a whole nother story, but I'm going to go, bam, and landed me in jail to be incarcerated. And in that incarceration, I had 6 months to sit down and look at 4 walls. And I'm talking about a 7x7 cell. Imagine that.
Wow.
If you stand up and you walk 1 foot in front of the other, 7 steps and stop, and then turn and walk 7 steps the other way and stop. That's it. 7x7. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I had time to sit down and really think about, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do when you get out of here? What is your life work? What is your mission going to be? Because I was like, oh Lord, I'm never going to be able to vote. I'm never going to be able to get a job. But let me tell you, my purpose was granted to me when I was in my mother's womb. Already. So my story was already written out. So the things and the events that led up to, catastrophes, as I call them in my life, I couldn't stray away from my purpose. Did I get off the mark? Did I fall down? Absolutely. Did I get back up? In my getting back up, in my being released from the Monroe Detention Center, being released from there, having my daughter that I speak on, at the time she was 3 weeks old.
Wow.
And when I came home, she didn't know me. She did not know me. And I was thinking, wow, she only gravitated to me because of her 2 older siblings. Yeah. And how they kept calling me mommy and getting into the bed with me. And then she's kind of like, who is she? Like, then she started reaching out to me, and then she'd be like, I want my daddy, or so that was that was a hurdle. That was something hard.
Mm.
However, I still had to understand what my purpose was. So now I have to self invent myself, because now I can't get a job because I'm a felon, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
And you have a
in my
record and stuff.
ministry of help,
Mm.
I created I got a business license because I like to help, I like to teach, I like to train. So I started a company. I got my business license, and it was Alternative Training Solutions Enterprise, ALTSE. So I
Yeah.
would train I would go into small businesses and train their employees on exceptional customer service, um, professional telephone skills, how to overcome an angry customer, things like that. Just doing some research and writing my own curriculum, going into these businesses, teaching their employees. Then it transitioned over into me starting to rent rooms out in my house.
Oh, wow.
I started renting rooms out in my house because the kids got older and went to college. So I had a 5-bedroom house, and I didn't need all the rooms, and I needed to provide for my family, understanding that I'm not going to be able to make the money that I was making
Mm.
before, because once again, I kept saying I'm a felon. So now I'm stuck. But that was a lie. That was a lie that I told myself. Granted, there are some jobs that I can't apply for. There are some certifications that I just can't get, right?
Yeah, yeah, of
But
course, yeah.
don't let that deter you. I didn't let that stop me. So I there's a community of subcontractors. I became a subcontractor, and through that, I was able to travel the world. So you mentioned
Wow.
your Filipino people. Yes, I spent about 3 months in the Philippines while I was
Nice.
on probation. So it can happen. It was simple as going to the probation office, saying, listen, I have a job. It is
Mm.
gainful employment. I have to leave the country. Will you please write a pass or something that
Yeah,
allows me
for
to leave
the
the country, because I'm not trying to get snatched up at the border or where have you. So I was
yeah.
able to do. So they granted it, of course, and I was able to travel
Mm.
Philippine globally and internationally,
Nice.
making really good money. Come back, you know, and turned alternative training solutions into alternative life solutions. Because what I start to notice is that the people who don't have a roof over their heads and they're just looking for like to rent a room, connecting with these people and hearing their stories and understanding their stories and understanding that they're suffering from mental illness, they're suffering from job loss, they're suffering from something, that really touched me. And I'm like, wow, if they're out here making it and utilizing their resources, then I'm going to be a resource. So that's why
Love
one
it.
of my mottos is for alternative life solutions is that I'm going to help you kickstart a new lifestyle, whatever that might look like. In fact, I'm gonna take a leap of faith, and I'm gonna go out into my community,
And
because I frequent stores that tents and people and sleeping bags all up and down the sidewalks. I wanted to know, do you want to
no,
be out here? Like, really, do
I
you? I see you every day. I come to this store, I see you every day, and you standing out here, you asking for change. Let's
um
chop it up.
yeah, hey Carol, my channel member here is like shocked. Did you because of what you just shared about being a felon and stuff, and
Yes.
maybe that and that may be, and I think that's a very brave admission and stuff. And I like what you
Mhm.
said about uh we call them tapes. Sometimes we play tapes in our head that I can never do this, I can never do this, I can never do
Yep.
this because of this. Yet life has happened. And
Yeah.
maybe something that maybe I would want, because based on a question, this is a very loaded question from EK, because I'm sure you've had to deal with the stigma, especially of having a record
Yeah.
in that particular space. So how did you like even navigate that? Because for you to transition easily to even work with communities and companies, that's
Mhm.
quite I think that's quite a breakthrough. And that goes into the shift, the where
Mhm.
like how did the shift happen? That's like a very huge mind shift.
Yeah.
Because I happen to have worked with the prison system. I've done like projects with them and things like that. So I do understand sometimes even just integrating them back into the society, the dynamics it takes. And this is Africa, so it's even a whole different ball game altogether. Where you have to look at protecting them, because you never know when they come back to the society, maybe there are people are just waiting for them to revenge or things like that. So
Exactly.
so how did you navigate, and how did you like make such a huge mind shift? And of course, you are alive to the stigma that you have to deal with from friends, relatives, colleagues.
You know what? It is a constant shift.
Yeah.
My shift is fluid. I'm constantly shifting, constantly having to reel myself back in, because I still have those mind frames. I still have that conviction, and I don't want it to go away. I still have that empathy. I am still a human being. So it's only natural for me to feel some kind of way. Here's one thing that helped me is when I had to go into the jail, right? First of all, the prosecutor wanted to give me 16 years state prison. I damn near fainted. Like, what? Scratch the record. Like, I've never been in any trouble, However, by the grace of God and his mercy and favor, I was given 5 years probation, which included 1 year county jail. When I got there, I ended up doing 6 months. So as I was in there, I connected with other women whose problems were way bigger than mine. I was so woe is me. I was so shocked that I have to eat bologna sandwich for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, just the small, intricate things that go along with that. Like God, like my mission was, I got to get out of here. I have to get out of here. So I filled out every form, every card, nobody wants to go to jail. I don't care what you've done. No one wants to go there. However, after I found out and accepted the fact that you're not getting out of here, you're going to have to do your time. And once I accepted that, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, that was a call coming in. Once I accepted my new normal and my reality, I didn't, they wanted to put me on like psych meds to, help me have a stable mood while I was there. And I turned it down. And the reason I turned it down is because I needed to experience every emotion. I didn't want to mask it. I didn't want to self-medicate. I didn't want any substance in my body that was going to affect my mind and trick me into thinking that everything was okay when everything was not okay. So that helped me with the shift by embracing the emotion. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be mad, to be sad, to be angry, to be remorseful, to grieve. It's okay. Like I said before, having an attitude of non-judgment. I had to forgive myself.
Yeah.
Before, I didn't forgive myself. So not forgiving myself caused me to, have to go to psych appointments and, get medications and things like that. But, circling it back, having an attitude of non-judgment is nobody's fault. Just do it. Do your time. I met wonderful women whose stories were way far out than mine. And I became in there a point of contact. I remember one lady, she asked me, I don't even know how she knew I was praying. I don't know. I don't even know her. She just came to me to my cell and she's like, I have to go to court today. Can you pray with me? And I'm like, she talking to me? I'm like, okay, well, let's pray. So we said a quick prayer. She went to court. She came back. just swinging this pink thing in the air, saying, I'm getting out, I'm getting out. Everybody, you should go pray with her. Go pray with her. She got a juice card with God. She got a juice card. I'm dying. I'm like, no, could you please not bring attention to me? I just want to stay quiet. I want to do my time, and then I want to get out. But, it just kept coming, not just from the inmates, but from the guards too. The guards would take me out at night and get personal with me as far as conversation and want to know, what are you doing here? Like, you don't seem like you should be here. And one guard, she even invited me to her church after, she's like, when you get out, I want you to come to my church. And it's not that I was going around like preaching to people or anything. I don't know. Like I always say, a light is not, you don't hear a light making noise. You just see it shining.
Yep.
So I have realized I'm going to shine no matter where I sit. Even when I want my light to be dim, even when I want to just take the background, even when I want to just fall back, not come on the panel, stay in the chat, it doesn't matter. It's going to come out. Somebody's going to see it. Someone's going to see it. Am I tooting my own horn? I'm going to change that from, you're not tooting your own horn, you're encouraging yourself. Sometimes we have to encourage ourselves and stop waiting for someone to encourage us. What does that look like, Drena? You know what it looks like? When the enemy tells you you can't do something, you say, I can do that. When the enemy tells you that you're not all that and you're not something, you say, I am that. So
I love it.
That's having, those positive affirmations and motivating and encouraging yourself, because you're responsible for yourself.
You drop in some amazing gems, and I think people are just soaking in. The light doesn't make noise. That's very powerful. No. And then Coach Merima is here, and we were just talking about Coach Merima earlier when I mentioned about the aspect of energy audit. So Coach Merima is here following and saying, thank you for being genuine and authentic, Drena. You're a rare gem and a gift to humanity.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so she's there following from the chat. India, how you doing, India? Welcome, India. Care phenomenal, appreciate it. Yeah, and Ike is also talking about just how, America and, what happens with the prison and how they totally make it hard for people to get jobs. She's just reflecting on that. And, you bounced back, and I like what you said about the mind shift. The mind shift is something that happens every day. It's not like a one-time event. Yeah, it's something that has to keep... that has to keep going. But maybe to somebody who is watching you maybe tomorrow, because I know I have people like watching these live streams after a day or something.
Yes.
And maybe there's somebody on the chat here. Are there specific mindset shifts or maybe belief systems that somebody needs to cultivate just to have long-term aspect of self-motivation? And also to preserve their energy, because it may be easy, but most people don't. Drena, you'll bear with me. Most people don't have that strong will to actually do that, because it is very easy. In case, if it was me, I would just say it is very easy maybe to start beating myself because now I have a record on me. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I get into depression. But you talk to yourself and you're like, no, I have to do better. So what are like some of the like in the long term, if I'm looking at a shift of the mind, what do I really need to cultivate mentally or inwards just to ensure that I have that culture of self-motivation and energy preservation to keep doing the best? Welcome, Frugal Mama. Yeah.
Yes. You that's a loaded question and
very
and a good one. Because there are no right or wrong answers, because everyone's situation is different.
Yeah.
Every day we have a choice to make. We're either going to get out of that bed or we're going to stay in it. And when we have people that are dependent on us, and I'm not just talking about you having children, or you are guardians for someone. When
Mm.
I say that someone is dependent on us, there are people in the world that you were designated to help. You may not even know who they are, but just by you telling your story and just by you being yourself, you could be helping someone and save someone's life.
Yeah.
So we hold ourselves accountable because we are accountable to others with no judgment. No
100%.
judgment. Stop beating yourself down. Let me tell you something.
Tell us.
There was a time,
Yeah.
and I'm going to say, maybe a year ago, or actually, let's say in 2020, when COVID hit, right? And even before COVID, I had a really good job. And remember, it was a subcontractor. I didn't have to travel anymore. So it was a stay-at-home job. And it was beautiful because I could take my kid back and forth to school. I could kind of work in my own pace. I was making over $50 an hour. And that was just one job. And then I had, in-home support. Or did
Yeah, should be. I
oh,
tried to
are we
put you on.
back?
Yeah, I tried to put you on solo layout. So if I drop off, just carry on.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
So as what I was sharing is that, long story short, I had multiple streams of income. Life was good. When you have money, life is pretty,
Of course.
is, but it definitely makes things easier. It makes things easier because you don't have to stress over, okay, I got the, I have to pay my mortgage, my rent, car note, insurance, utilities, and all of these things. So for me, when COVID hit, the income started falling off one by one. And so all I had left pretty much was my alternative life solutions, my nonprofit organization, where I go out into the community and help other people and care for the most vulnerable in our communities. So that would be our women with children. That would be people living in their cars, people that don't have resources. That wouldn't generate no revenue.
No.
So it's like, okay, so what am I gonna do now, God? Like, can you help? Like, help me. Lead me. Lead, guide, and direct my footsteps. Because opportunities are out there. Resources are out there. They're all over the place. So, and what I'm trying to tell you right now is I am pretty much in that space right now. I'm in that space. So I don't have gainful employment right now. So, but that's not going to stop me from getting up. If you got to do what you got to do. If you got to go to bed and put the black screen on with the music and the motivational quotes and things, do that. If you have to get up and power walk around the block, do that. If you have to get up in the morning and whatever it is that you have to do to bring yourself back, to center yourself, then do that, because you're still here. So your work on this earth is not done. If you don't know what your purpose is, find out. Write a vision board. Set goals, short term and long term. Do your mindful breathing meditation, which if you don't mind, when we're done, I would like to close, my part out with a mindfulness breathing meditation exercise. It's very
100%.
important. When you can learn how to do that, let me tell you, and then I'm gonna say one last thing, and then I'm shut up.
Yeah.
Was it
Got it.
yesterday or the day
Yeah.
before? I was sitting on the couch, and my heart started having these palpitations, and subconsciously, things are going on in our brain.
Yeah.
Like you had two parts, right? You have your intellectual brain, and then you have the other. So
Yeah.
we may not be thinking about a certain thing that's going on, but subconsciously our brain is saying, these things are going on. It could be things that happen in your childhood, things that's going on in your community, things that's going on in your household, or even things that's going on within that you don't speak about. I don't speak out loud about some of the things that scare me. And so my heart started beating like that. So I said, you know what? And I was home alone. I said, let me take my blood pressure. So my blood pressure is like 169 over 129. And the pulse was like 120. I was like, oh, Lord, I'm having a heart attack. So I had to remind myself to do mindfulness breathing. Just start breathing, Drena.
Mm.
Just breathe. Focus on your breath. Have an attitude of non-judgment. Bring yourself back. So I brought myself back. 5 minutes, took my blood pressure again. It went down to 144. I did mindfulness breathing again. I waited 5 minutes. Then I got the pillow, put my arm up there, and did it again. And it was down to 129. So sometimes we have to bring ourselves back. Because I was about ready to call 911. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me focus on myself. Let me see what's going on. Let me center myself. Centering at the breath like an anchor. And we can find that space. And tune everything else out. And even if your mind wanders away, it's okay. Just bring it back. And I promise you, you will see a difference in your life. You will see a difference in your day. You're going to see a difference in your circumstances. You're going to see like the universe is going to start bringing things to light. And the more that you work on yourself, you could be better for other people. And then God is going to bring people in your life, in your circle, to your front door. You meet at the grocery store, up the street, the mailman, somebody. My mama told me always that God is always going to send somebody, either somebody for you to help or for someone to help you. And those are two principles that I always stood on. And I promise you, it has never failed.
100%. Breathwork is like powerful, and that's a whole different they say your breath is your most powerful tool, but it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of inner work to actually and uncover that power and understand why it is your most powerful tool. You're most welcome, blessed mom. Yeah, because blessed, the host has a shirt written blessed, so I get confused there for a bit. Yeah, everybody's just enjoying. Care says it's very inspiring. Anjali Chetri, thank you so much. Nice to see you. Frugal Mama is like right on. I want to ask another question that is just that just will take us now into the space of energy. One of the biggest challenges when you've done a lot of inner work is, again, it comes to like the biggest risk and the biggest weakness is normally people undoing the work you've done. Sometimes it even comes from very powerful decisions that we make. We make decisions, we make intentions, and we go ahead and implement some of these decisions. And then you find that the weakest link is always the people we have to interact with, who have who actually now come in the way in terms of making those decisions really not really like be their optimal self, or maybe what you really desired such decisions to be. And this will then be my question in that case. I'm just trying to like rework it in my head so that it comes out very clearly. In the process, you've done a lot of work, and you have a lot of you have like a great sense of self-awareness in terms of and I guess based on your lived experience and things like that, how do you think this self-awareness, when you've done all this inner work, contribute to especially the process of that unleashing that inner, the inner Drena that is ready to, like this is what I'm doing, these are my intentions. And how do you think that self-awareness also helps in protecting your own energy? Because are there like recommended practices that we can use to enhance our awareness in that context? Because when it comes to the work, when it comes to energy work, that's like a whole different, it's like a whole discipline. But self-awareness definitely does help a lot. But then what are some of maybe tips you may have that your self-awareness can also help in terms of the energy work you have to deal with? It's a very, I think it's all over the place, but yeah, no, I hope you get to where I'm heading with it. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. I understand the question. Let me tell you something that's very important. Once you become self-aware or awaken or conscious and understanding who you are, that you've done the work, right? Like I say, been there, done that, wrote a book about it, got a keychain, refrigerator magnet, and all the stuff. That doesn't mean that I don't have, struggles up ahead, and I don't have, trials and tribulations and more storms to battle, to go through. But when you think about where you've been and how you made it through, if you could just look back over your life and remember when you didn't think you were going to make it, and remember when somebody hurt you because you trusted them. Those were life lessons. Those are mistakes that we made, that God and our Creator allowed to happen because it was going to help us in the future. So moving forward, being self-aware, understanding that life might just make another quick left turn or another quick right turn. How can I avoid the same mistakes I made in my past? How can I protect myself from making the same mistake? How can I let my heart break so my soul can heal? How can I manage to be in this financial funk and still keep a smile on my face and a straight face when my daughter is saying, I need $180 for these Nikes, and that's a good deal, and she thinks money come off trees, and rolling the neck, and we'll just go to the ATM. How can I protect my energy because I want to fly across the room, and what did I tell you? No, I'm not gonna do that. I dust it off. You already know. Trust me, if you are in tune with yourself, when it comes to people, you could read a person. It's called a discernment. You could tell when someone is coming with bad energy or bad intentions because you've already been through it, or you've heard someone else's story about it. It is the small, still voice that we tend to not pay attention to because it comes in a pretty package. Because it comes sometimes in the form of, you can make this amount of money, or it comes in the form of, rips and abs. It comes in the form of all types of things. But we don't want to listen to the small, still voice. We're like, no, I don't want that. I want this.
The still small voice is never comfortable.
It's not. And that is when that small, still voice is not comfortable, that's when we need to embrace it the most. I promise you. And even to this day, and I will admit, I am in tune and I am self-aware. And I have a small, still voice. Do I always listen to the small, still voice? It's always sometimes that I think, okay, I'm going to get over on this one. Even though the small, still voice says that's not it. I'm like, well, let me rationalize this and work it out because it could be good in this kind of way or that kind of way. And promise you, every single time. Every single time. It's like Groundhog's Day. Why do you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results? That is insanity. So stop. Picture a stop sign. That's my thing.
Absolutely.
Picture the stop sign. Stop. It's not. What was this? A cartoon we watched when we were little. I can't think of the cartoon, but one of the little characters used to say, "It'll never work." I say that all the time. But protecting yourself and protecting your energy when you are self-aware is number one, listening to the small, still voice. And follow the small, still voice. If the small, still voice say, "Oh, baby, you barking up the wrong tree with that one," don't entertain it. We can't sometimes help what our eyes see, right? What crosses our eyes. But we don't have to focus on it. Change the channel. Change the station. Walk away. People try to hold you hostage with their rhetoric and garbage and want to dump garbage on you on the telephone, calling you and texting you and all the different ways they can reach you. Turn it off for your own sanity.
Yeah.
You have to protect yourself, or you'll find yourself all day jumping from YouTube channel to channel to channel to a link to Instagram to a reel, and then just watch just content, just stuff. And that's what it is. It's just stuff and fluff. I'm not saying that the content doesn't have substance. Just for me at this time on this day, I cannot engage because I'm not in a good headspace. I know I have some work to do. So I have to protect myself from people, places, and things that I know that are not good for me on today, right? The
100%.
martini bar might be good for me on a Friday, hooking up with my girlfriend, but it's not good for me on Monday morning when I got shit to do.
That's true. It's just the reality of things. Yes, I can hear you. Welcome, King Cool.
So I say, listen to the small, still voice. Follow what you know to be right and to be true. And if you went down that road before, understand it's the same road.
Drena, I can hear you.
Okay, it's the same road. So surround yourself with 3 types of people, right? You have that person that has resources when you don't have resources. You have that person in your life who you could call on, and maybe they have a hookup to, a network of people, a job, housing opportunities. They have resources, and those resources have resources. So have someone around you that have some resources. That second person that you should have around you or in your circle is someone who has been through what you are going through. Not someone who's going through what you're going through. Someone who's been there and done that. Then they can tell you, hey sis, hey bro, if you keep going down that path, there's a pothole up there and you're going to fall into that pothole. So before you get there, once you make that left turn, go around and then bring it back. And you can miss that pothole. That's that second person who's been through what you are going through. And then that third person, I believe you should have in your life is someone who can get a prayer through on your behalf. Sometimes we don't, sometimes those of us who pray, sometimes don't even know what to pray for. And some don't pray at all. But if you could just find somebody in your circle or have someone in your circle who can just get a prayer through on your behalf, those are the 3 types of people I have in my life. Someone who has some resources, someone who's been through what I'm going through, and then someone who can get a prayer through on my behalf, because those are the 3 people. You go either be the type of person that, and you probably heard this before, you're going to be the type of person that wonders what happened, or you're going to be the type of person just watch what happens, or you're going to be that person that makes things happen. You choose which one you want to be. Which one you want to be? I want to be someone that make things happen. But I do like to watch.
Yep.
I like to sit back and watch
I-
and observe. That's my learning style. I'm going to sit back, I'm going to watch, I'm going to observe, then I'm going to try to do it, and then I'm going to make it happen. So the funk that I'm in right now is only temporary. So Curtis wakes up and you know, I know he's wondering, like, how is she so happy today? You know, where is her joy coming from? It's not that I'm happy I'm not happy with the situation, but I have my joy. And I know that everything is going to be all right. And because I have a mission and a vision and a purpose, because I'm still here, I woke up this morning with breath in my body, with a reasonable portion of my health and strength and the activities of my limbs. So there's still work for me to do out here in the YouTube streets and in these streets. Yes, I believe that. Nobody can take that away from me. Can't come to my house on no Saturday with no pamphlets and change my mind. No, you can't.
I like what you said about the YouTube streets and the streets.
Right?
Yeah, that's amazing. Welcome, says Easy Thomas, Tati. Nice to see you, Tati Malon. Welcome. Thank you so much. That's amazing family there. I want to narrow in onto what inspired you to get onto YouTube and, you know, put your content out there, because then that will be an interesting place to begin that conversation.
You know, I had a YouTube channel. I think everyone that logs into YouTube, they have a channel. Whether or not they want to put content on it is a whole different story.
That's true.
Now, I would just upload things like what my kids are doing, or, you know, stuff like that. Then I met Curtis, and he inspired me to start putting, you know, my story out there and start vlogging. Yeah. He was my inspiration to do that. I was afraid to do that. I didn't want to get naked in front of the world. I didn't want to be vulnerable.
Yes.
I wanted to just sit back and watch. But I knew that there's someone waiting on you. And then the one story I put out, and I had no idea that so many people that it would touch people's lives. And they were very thankful and grateful. And so my prayer is always like, God, please help me to be a greater blessing to others. Bless me that I may be a greater blessing to others. When 2020 came and we were confined and couldn't go anywhere, that's all we had, right? Was social media. So I started just uploading, you know, just uploading things. And I like to talk to myself when I'm in my car. That's when it started. I started recording myself as I'm driving down the street with these thoughts. And then I learned how to edit and InShot. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can upload this. And so I just started uploading. And then I always do I'm always going to read my Bible in the morning, or some type of motivational verse of the day, or something from the motivation app, because that's important to me. That's how I make it through the day without beating myself half to death in my mind about, you know, the things that I did in my past, to forgive myself. So motivating myself, encouraging myself, and then being an encouragement to other people. So that's how I started in the YouTube, as far as just uploading content. I wasn't tripping or worried about subscribers. I didn't know anything about YouTube Studios. I didn't know any of that. I just had Curtis there to guide me, and he was telling me, like, you should do that.
I can't see the co-host. Let's see. Drena, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. You're back. I lost you there for a moment. Yeah, guys, if you haven't connected to the co-host, I've pinned her link there. And thank you so much for getting her to 800. I know this Whitey Streets. She's just now 200 short of 1K. Thank you so much for the people who are supporting the co-host. Yes, I don't know if I interrupted or something, because I know you are talking about Curtis and how you make your content in your car. because you're always very big, as I said, on those motivations, the affirmations, the stuff that actually drives you. That's actually what you
Yeah.
create around your channel. Is
Yeah.
there is there any, do you have any particular strategic direction you want to take on the channel in the future, or it's just going to
Yes.
be you winging it as it is, or what's the plan?
The plan is I need to start going live more often
Because
without fear or judgment.
You have great, I was checking your channel the other day and I was like, you've done lives before and those lives are very popular. Like, I was like,
probably on the watch back. What I'm seeing in the analytics is that, the more you go live, the more the notifications will be pushed out. And when people come on your live, you have to be prepared, right?
That's true.
You have to be prepared.
Always.
And that's
always.
that. And I had to learn from my mistakes. And sometimes people come on and they can't hear me. There's an echo. I had to go through all of that to get to the point where, okay, now anything you do is going to be hard before it becomes easy. For most people, for me anyways. I speak for myself. It's my learning self.
That's true.
So the more I do it, the more I watch you, Black Money, and people that go live, it looks flawless, effortless.
You find your rhythm eventually. I was watching my first live stream this morning, and now I was scared. I was not so sure what I was doing and things like that. And then I was appreciating the process, from 11th February 2022, and it's 5th July 2023. So I'm just like, in just a span of less than 1.5 years, you can't be the same person. And I think it just goes back to what you were saying about some of the things that you've gone through life. You can never be the same. It makes you the things that change you, they change your mindset. So I say find your rhythm, because everybody is different. Everybody has a different aura they bring. So you'll find your rhythm. MTC, nice to see you. Welcome back to the community. It's been a while since I saw MTC Michael, Creative Kitchen. You had a question here because I think Lily asked a question earlier. Just put a star on it. How do you forgive yourself? Because you said something about forgiving yourself. Like, how do you go about the process of forgiving yourself? Because for her, she's like, she's trying to understand that, because I think that is like one big challenge to most people.
Yeah. Forgiving yourself is ongoing.
Sorry, it was Wild Rich. It was Wild Rich. Sorry, it was Wild Rich. Let me just correct that. Yeah, there's a question. I also want to know what you do yourself to forgive yourself.
Yes, that's a great question. Every day, we have to take up our cross, right? We have to take up our cross and bear it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have all these notifications coming in. We have to take up our cross every day, and I have to take ownership of what I've done to damage myself, my self-worth, my self-esteem. And in turn, by doing that, it discouraged someone, or I went off on someone. Curtis says I have an alter ego called Gangsta D. And she can be very vicious with the tongue, right? So, I'm human. Forgive me. So I have to forgive myself by reminding myself that I am only human. I make mistakes. And once you forgive yourself and don't do that thing anymore, then nobody can bring that back up to you. You throw that in the sea of forgetfulness. God's thrown it into the sea of forgetfulness, and the only way it's going to be brought back up is if you keep bringing it back up, or if people keep bringing it back up, or you keep bringing people into your circle that's going to keep bringing it back up. Leave that stuff alone. Stop focusing on what you did and focus on what you're going to do. You keep looking
Right.
in the rearview mirror, and you're gonna have an accident.
I
Focusing on
like
all
that.
that stuff going on in the train wrecks that you made and the lives that you messed up, and we all have areas of opportunity. You know what I do
Yeah.
every day, every morning? Well, most mornings, I make a list of what went well and what could have gone better, or areas of opportunity.
It.
Okay,
Let me just. Yeah.
it's
Oh
just
wow.
simple. What went well for me today, and what could have gone better? So I have to reinvent myself every day, because if I don't, then I will fall into a woe is me. And we all have areas of opportunity. Understanding that you are not perfect, understanding that you are going to make mistakes, understanding that those mistakes are there for you to learn from. Forgive
100%.
yourself, and then when that thing starts creeping back up, and people start reminding you of, oh yeah, remember when you did this or you did that, and stop sign, picture the stop sign. Even in
I
my
love
own
it.
mind, I have a pity party and I go off on myself. Stop sign, stop, picture the stop sign. I am forgiven. I have forgiven myself. And then go on and bless somebody else.
I love
And
that.
it's a beautiful feeling.
Just hold this thought. I just want to acknowledge Sis Easy Thomas for the blessing. Thank you so much, Sis Easy. I know you have to rush, busy woman, but thank you so much. Let me acknowledge this.
That's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yeah, may your pot never run dry, Sis Easy Thomas. Thank you so
Aww.
much, sis. I always really appreciate your presence, and thank you so much. Yeah, that I have to run that pot for her because of the blessing, guys.
Let me
Yeah.
say one last thing.
Yes.
Was it whoever that was before that had the question?
Wild Rich. Yes.
How to forget yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, first, you need to acknowledge that what you did was unacceptable, because you're not going to change anything that you do not acknowledge. You're not going to change the behavior if you don't feel that nothing was wrong with the behavior. You can argue somebody down, up and down, all around town, trying to prove your point. But at the end of the day, take ownership for what you did. I tell my daughter all the time, with these friend groups, well, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Okay, I understand that you believe you didn't do anything. That's your experience, and that you didn't do anything. But what could you have done differently? Just acknowledging what that other person is saying or doing, don't take that away from them. That's their experience. That is what they experience. Don't take it away. What could you have done differently in that situation? If you say nothing, then you need to go back to the drawing board. Because in every situation, we could have made a different choice. We could have done something differently. If you can just acknowledge that, focus on what you can control, and forgive yourself and say, I made a mistake. I did wrong. I know I could do better, and I want to do better. I forgive myself. Will you please forgive me? If the answer is no, thank you very much. And do it moving. Because the forgiveness is not for, like we say, it's not for the other person. It is to release myself. And sometimes when we've forgiven ourselves, we're releasing ourselves from our own destruction. We can tear our own selves down, not forgiving ourselves. It will cause depression. It will cause anxiety. And then that turns into physical illness, stress, high blood pressure, diabetes, overeating,
all those things,
all of those things, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have it all figured out. Please. I'm walking this walk and I'm living this life just like everyone else. I
And
just
you're
know that this can't all be it. Like God has something better for my life or something different. It might not even be better, just different. Because I feel like that's my purpose and that's my mission. And for me to be blessed, to be a greater blessing to someone else.
That's
And
true.
that's where the whole, with the community thing and helping my community and being able to tell my story. So the more I verbalize it, the more I'm saying, devil, you are a liar. You are not going to hold that over my head. Yes, I entertained, someone who was emotionally unavailable. And so what? I'm not going to do it again. And even if I did it again, I'm still not going to hold it myself. I'm not going to hold it against me. I'm going to forgive myself and move forward.
Well said. Guys, if you have any question for Drena that you want her to weigh your thoughts, we are getting towards the tail end of the conversation. So in case you have any questions, feel free to drop them down there on the chat. Quiz Cafe, nice to see you, Tony. Tony, it's been a while since I saw you. Tony is a great growth live streamer. He plays very nice games on his channel in the afternoon. You can check him out. He's my amazing brother from India. How are you doing, Tony? Tony or the Quiz Cafe? The Quiz Cafe. Yeah, he does very nice quiz, and people normally win a lot of good things there. You can win WH, you can win support, you can win. He's very generous, to be honest. Like, I think those games are very, it's like what Latoya does, but Tony has mastered it like over time, so he's very good at that stuff. Yeah, you can check it out. You can check out what Tony does. Best of Ajabu, welcome. If there's any question, please drop it on the chat. If not, I want to just give Drena. I want us to take like a short break, and then we come and wrap this up. So I will ask Drena my final questions after the break. So just to stretch a bit, I want to just walk a bit and then come back. And as that happens, I'm just going to I'm going to promote just my channel members for like about a minute, as Drena also just stretches, and then we can come and finish this. Okay. So bear with us. If you haven't given us a thumbs up, please do it. Winnie Shiko, nice to see you. Drena, feel free to get some water or something, or if you need to walk, stretch a bit, you have like my permission. Naomi, how you doing, Naomi? MTC, I wish your daughter a beautiful graduation. Yeah. So we're just taking like a short break. I'll be back shortly. Then we can finish this in a bit. I normally use my commercial break just to promote my channel members and everybody, but I want to thank my super chatters. Is Easy Thomas. Thank you so much, is Easy Thomas. Yeah, okay, we are taking a short break. Don't go anywhere. If connect to each other, say hi to each other. Some of you have not seen each other for a while, so you can connect to each other for a bit. We'll be back in about 1 minute. Go eat. Just leave me alone. I'd already eat. I normally take my dinner before I come on the live stream, so I'm very full. I just want to stretch. I'm feeling like a bit stiff. Okay, so I'm just going to like stretch a bit. We'll be back, and then we come and finish this conversation. So make use of the time here. So let's do this. Okay, we are back. 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 Yeah, guys. Yeah, I had to go like pee and stuff. Let's like tell you that I was like to go run and pee and then come back. Drena, I'm back when you're ready. Ready when you are. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm waiting for my co-host, and then we'll be able to continue this. We have like a few minutes, and then we can end. I don't want to keep you here longer than necessary. Okay. EK, leave me alone. Yeah, we were at TK. I was at TK's live stream. I woke up so early today, guys. Like that's why I'm sleepy. I woke up. I woke up at TK's. I went to EK's live stream very early in the morning. Jeez, that's why I'm sleepy because, guys, the things you do for receipts. Let me just leave it at that. So that's why I come. Yeah, I need to like wake up and stuff. Anyway, the good thing, I'm like looking at the time. I'm like almost, but it's so early. Jeez. Let me wait for Drena to come up and then we can finish this. Then she can get us through that breathing thing. I don't see any questions on the chat, so I think we are good. Yeah, she's back. She's back.
Yeah, my mom is here. I had to go check on her.
Leave me alone. Drena, I can't see your picture. I don't know what's happening.
You cannot see my picture?
Oh, there it is loading. There you are. Okay. Yep. Yeah, guys, and I hope you are connecting to my co-host. Coach Mary Ma is also here. Coach Mary says, Drena, thank you so much for sharing your story and taking back your power. You are well appreciated and celebrated. The two of you should be friends. I think you have the same energy. Like, you guys are just amazing. Yeah. So, Coach Mary Ma, leave a comment there. You guys should be buddies. Like, you guys have amazing energy there. Yeah, you guys have amazing energy. And then Gino, Sim Love Receipts. Okay, leave me alone. These guys are talking about me. No, the live about spouses. Guys, I'm not going to talk about it. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'm not going to talk about it. Guys, I'm in a very serious conversation here. You can't ask me about the drama. I'm not going to talk about it. What are you talking about? What drama? What? When? How? Me? That wasn't me. That wasn't me. They're making fun of my eyes, and I'm telling them I woke up so early and I was at EK's live stream, and because there was some very hot gossip there, and I was like, I ended up staying there. Then I had to run. I fell asleep actually while I was still on that.
Oh my gosh! Did you?
Yeah. Good thing I wasn't on the panel, so I was just like on the chat. But it was a very interesting discussion. They were talking about whether ladies are supposed to pay the bill for their spouse or their boyfriend or something. And everybody was weighing in there. Everybody was coming out crazy. But the most interesting one was this lady called Patila. Patila says that she was going out with her man. And then the man decided to pick his friends along the way to the, wherever they were going. And then when the bill came, they were at the bar. So, the man says that Patila is the one who is going to settle the bill. So Patila decided to go to the ladies. And then she says she went to the ladies, and that's how she went home. She kept on getting calls for the rest of the night. I was like, I was done. I'm like, and can you imagine? And then apparently it was on Valentine's Day, because she says that the man's birthday was on 14th February. And I was like, are you sure that man's birthday was on 14th February, or he created it intentionally? Because and that's why I fell asleep, because it was just
my gosh.
Yeah, oh my goodness, that was wild. So she says that my phone kept on ringing the entire night. I just slept until the following day. The guy refused to talk to her for like, I don't know, for weeks.
You a mess.
I know, it was wild. But I love Patila. I think Patila made my day today. I was at work. I was just laughing the entire time of that, with that episode. And anyway, focus. Moving on quickly. Moving on. That was a good commercial break, guys. It was just hot drama that I woke up to this morning. Drena, do you have any inspiring success stories of people you've interacted with, or people you've worked with who have just transformed their lives by tapping into their their inner fire and implementing those effective energy preservation mechanisms. Are there
Yeah.
people that, and maybe can you share with us maybe a few anecdotes about what they did and what they were going through? Because sometimes I think people like hearing stories about people.
Yes. There's a few. I have a few stories. One that's very dear to my heart is a very, very dear sister of mine, and she was really struggling and going through the loss of her children to the system, and losing her housing, and just being in a place where she was in survival mode, and self-medicating. And she reached out to me. I've always made my number public. You could call me any time of the night or morning or afternoon. And if I don't answer, send me a text message and I will get back to you. So she reached out, and, she was doing the ugly cry, and she was tired. She was tired of being in the streets, tired of living the life, tired of doing drugs, wanted to get her kids back. So first things first, let's pray. So we could get some direction and some guidance of what we need to do, or what you need to do. And long story short, she actually lived about from here to there is about 200 miles away. So she came. I got her sent for her on the Greyhound bus. She came out on the Greyhound bus with just the clothes on her back. And first things first, we started her with some community resources. Out here in Sacramento, there's a place called 7000 Franklin Street where they do counseling, and they do drug rehabilitation and things of, to get you back on your feet, to where you can get a social worker, and then you can start the process of getting your kids back after you do the self-work. So I was very proud of her for taking those steps. That's one of the things I talk about with my nonprofit, Alternative Life Solutions, is that we're geared towards helping people kick new lifestyles, but we're not going to do the work for you. You have to do the work yourself. But I will assist you. I will assist you along the way. So just being there and seeing her transition from how she was, and I mean, she was like, the drugs had taken such a toll on her, like her nose and her physical features were, you could tell like she had really lived a hard life. So she started working the programs and utilizing the resources. Remember, I told you about those 3 people. You have somebody who got some resources, right? Somebody who's been through what you're going through, and somebody who can get a prayer through on your behalf. So for her, I was a resource, and I helped her to tap into those resources. And I stayed with her. In fact, she actually came to live with me. And she rented, one of the rooms. I was doing, I do room and board and care. So I took her in, and she was my success story, because I saw the drive in her, and I saw that she wanted the change. There's a lot of people that come and say they want to change, but they're not really ready to change. But she was ready. And once she decided that she was ready, I'm telling you, she worked the program. She graduated from the program. She continued to get counseling. I assisted her at court, filling out those court documents, going with her as a moral support person. And she got her kids back. We got her housing. She got her an apartment. She got off those drugs. She got her a job. And I'm telling you, that just gladdened my heart. And we are still in touch to this day. And there's, so that's just one story. I have many more, but that one right there is very dear to very, very dear to my heart. Very dear to my heart.
Wow, nice. And I mean, that's impact right there, because, I like what you said about many people want the help, but then they're not willing to do the work.
Right.
And sometimes the work is actually what gets you
Mm-hmm.
going and stuff. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's actually very
Yeah.
powerful. Is there like a website for maybe somebody who may want to support the work you guys do or something like that?
Yeah.
How
Mm-hmm. It's
how
called.
can they reach you?
Yeah. Let me give that to you. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I'm
Hey
going to.
Josephine.
I can put it in the chat.
Hello.
Hold on. I hope I don't click
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
Hold on.
yeah. You should
I'm
have
gonna go right
more
here. Social media.
dark screen.
Let me see. Okay, so offer up. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one. Copy link. Go here, and then chat, and then I can think of it. This one. Paste.
Nice. Let me check from my
Okay.
phone.
All right, that is the business page of Alternative Life Solutions.
Oh, I think it went
That's
to
my
the
nonprofit. I
the
put it in the
Facebook link.
comments. Yeah, that is to there.
Okay.
And then my website, let me copy that link. Unfortunately, I lost everything on my website except for the first page. So I'm in the midst of rebuilding it, but there's still a chat link, and there should still.
Building. Okay.
It's so generic now. You know, that's one of the things that I had to forgive myself for, and that is I did not pay attention to when the renewal came up, because I was so, well, for whatever reasons, I didn't pay attention to it. It's my fault. I did that. So now my website is gone. I had to rebuild it, and now it's just a one pager, and I had all types of sections. So, but however, that's the link I put in the chat to the website, and then the Facebook business page. Yeah, the website just looks embarrassing to me, but you know what? Hey, things happen. So
things
what are you gonna do?
And you have to build back. At least there's something that I'm glad that there's something that is actually keeping you. How was the experience? How was the experience going to make impact in the Philippines when you had a moment to actually leave the United States? How was that like?
Oh my gosh. I still have friends over there in the Philippines. I absolutely love them. They embrace me with open arms. And you know what?
Yeah.
I don't like to fly. So imagine that, right? The flight was just way too long. However, when I got there, I was welcomed with open arms, and I was able to make some longtime friends. I still have friends there now. And it wasn't even a hard assignment. Typically, I would go travel and I would train, a classroom of people.
Nice.
And, back-to-back classes. Maybe if I'm there for 3 months, the class may be like a 5 to 7 day class. So just train the classes back to back to back for the whole 3 months.
Wow.
This time when I went to the Philippines, it wasn't that. It was me observing their trainers and giving them feedback and certifying them to train the material. So I never had to train. I just sat back in the class and then, try to make the trainer feel comfortable, but they would often look at me and say, "So is that right? Miss Drena, is that right?" They taught me some of their language. They took me out to party. We had so much fun. I'm still their friend. And now my son is engaged to a Filipino woman, and they have 2 Filipino and Black children. And I'm still in connection with my
adorable.
Filipino friends. Yeah.
That's adorable. That's beautiful. So you can speak some Tagalog. You can say "Kumusta." You can say all this.
Yeah, just salamat and lola.
Salamat.
Lolo. Yeah, salamat po. Yeah, just a little bit.
That's amazing.
You're taking me back. But yeah.
All right, guys. Do you have any questions for? Guys, do you have any questions for Drena? I think I've exhausted my questions, because my last question, I think she kind of answered it. My last question was, what do you recommend for us or people? How do you recommend individuals to handle external influence or negative energy that may hinder their self-motivation.
Mm-hmm.
But and I think she kind of answered it. But if she wants to take a last go at it, it's perfectly fine. But I think you kind of answered it already.
Yeah, we could write a dissertation on that.
Yeah.
Most importantly, the key points, the key takeaway points. Focus on what you can control. Protect your circle. Protect your heart.
Yes.
Your heart is your mind. Your mind is your heart. Be selective of what you allow into it. Be select. It's okay. Don't be so easy to let everything just come in. Everybody's not worthy of having a conversation with you. Everybody's not worthy of you going back to that mind frame where you once were. Now, do they press buttons and take us there? Yeah, we could, enough said on that, right? But protecting yourself, protecting what you hear, be careful of what you see, be careful of what you entertain, because it's going to cost you more than you wanted to pay, and it's going to keep you longer than you wanted to stay. You have to have some self-control, some discipline. It may require doing some fasting. It may require doing some things that are uncomfortable. I don't want to stretch and step and exercise and do yoga, but I do know I have to. If I don't, then I'll get weak. My body and my fleshly desires are going to be stronger than my spirit and my mind and my heart. So that's what I have to offer.
Co-host. Oh, there you are. It may require some discipline. It may require some fasting. I think that's the last thing I had. Hey, Miss D. Yeah, hey, Miss D.
And if you all have any questions for me that you can't think of right now, you could always reach me at on Instagram. It's Drena's_Haven_916. That's probably the best place. I read all the comments on my videos, and I could comment there. And you could always, reach out to me anytime. And then if you go to the alternativelifesolutions.org website, there should be a chat. You just click the chat and it comes directly to my phone.
Ah, nice. Oh, that's pretty good. I picked the website actually. I was just like, I was copying it on the chat there. Ivan, nice to see you, my amazing brother. PDRN is in the building. I think very, very crystal points. What are your favorite? What are some of your favorite affirmations that you want us to? They can be short, they can be catchy. That you want to live with that, because I know you post a lot of them on your Instagram.
Yeah.
And your Instagram is very busy. Like, your Instagram is so busy with affirmation.
I saw something that say you should post on Instagram at least 3 to 5 times a day.
Yeah, it is very busy. It's a very busy Instagram account.
I try. Anything that's posted on my Instagram, I have it set to where it automatically posts on my Facebook business page, Alternative Life Solutions business page. So it's like a 2-for-1. Post on Instagram and it automatically goes there. Yeah. So that's important. That's important to me. So one of the things that I like, it's actually a scripture. And the scripture is, I can do all things through Christ, which gives me strength. I can do all things through Christ, which gives me strength. I think it's Romans 8:28. But that's one of my favorite motivational quotes. I can do all things through Christ, which gives me strength. Now, does that mean that I have to do all things? No. It just means I can do all things through Christ, which gives me strength. That's one of my favorites. And then my other one is that the signature of my email is to one person. To what was it? Oh, to the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you may be the world.
Ooh, I
That's
love
been my
that.
signature. That's been like the thing under my signature on my email for, man, since I had AOL, Yahoo. Now I'm over on Gmail. That's an old one. So that one is that's big for me. To the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you may
One
be the world.
person. I love it. It's very deep. It's very deep. There was one I think I was checking on your Instagram just now. Hey, Lady Posh. Wait, the Kenyan Lady Posh. Talk Up Experience is asking, Goga, you a pastor? No, I'm not a pastor. Talk Up, I'm a yoga instructor. I'm definitely not a pastor. I'm not going to even like I'm not going to masquerade as one here. Yes. Ike is the pastor. Definitely not me. Definitely not me. Okay.
Well,
I don't
thank
know
you
that
for
there's
having
anything.
me, Goga. I appreciate you so
Thank
much.
you so
My mom is
much.
here, and so I need to go cater to her
Yeah, so I
and
want
get
to
her
just
off on the
actually to release
road.
you. So I'll put you on solo layout just for you to sign off, and then we can end this, and then I'll think that's a very good whatever. I thank you so much for staying extra. You actually gave me an extra hour of your time, so I really appreciate that.
That's fine.
All right.
Can we just do the a mindful breathing meditation before I leave,
Yes, please.
if you don't
Yes, I'm
mind?
ready.
Okay, very good. So, what I'm going to encourage you all to do, wherever you are, you're going to just sit straight up. Don't strain yourself. If you can put your feet flat on the floor, close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. But if not, just look a few feet in front of you on the floor. I'm going to hit the meditation bell, and I encourage you to bring all of your awareness and attention to your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Just notice your breath. Notice where you can feel your breath the most easily. It might be in your nostrils with the actual touch of the air, or it might be in your stomach or your chest. Just choose whatever place is easiest to keep your awareness on. Breathing in and breathing out. Just notice the breath. Instead of breathing deeply on purpose, just breathe naturally. If you're breathing deeply, just notice that you're doing that naturally. If you're breathing shallowly, just notice that you're breathing that way naturally and not by any deliberate intervention. It's just about noticing the breath as it is occurring during this meditation. You might notice that your mind wanders away from the breath, and that's completely normal. Don't get frustrated or annoyed or think that you're doing anything wrong. Just breathing in and breathing out. If your mind wanders, just gently bring your awareness back to your breath and refocus. Your breath is your anchor. It keeps you here and now rather than floating off into the emotions or imaginations. Simply breathing in and breathing out. I'm going to ring the meditation bell. At the sound of the bell, just notice the sound until you cannot hear it any longer or until the sound is gone before opening your eyes. Give yourself a round of applause and a seal of approval. Very good.
Wow. A round of applause and a seal of approval. I love that. It was so beautiful. Like I like the bell at the beginning. They just it was so nice.
Yes, I have these on
Yeah.
sale on my offer up page.
It's fine. I mean, it's okay. Let me see.
It's a it's a meditation bell.
Ah, nice. Ding. I
And this one
I think
is it's a Woodstock Zenergy Chime Solo,
wow. Okay.
and it's the silver one. But I have this. I sell them on my offer up page.
Ooh,
I
interesting.
if you look at any of my videos in the description, it has a whole list of social media contacts, and one of them
Mm,
is my offer up page where I buy, sell, trade items, and
awesome.
I have two meditation bells for sale on there. Yes.
You do a lot.
So
You do like a
thank you.
lot.
I know
For that.
I'm like
Yeah.
50, 11 things all the time.
Thank you, thank you so much for your time and for us having this conversation. It was long overdue. I know we've always just met and doing
I
yoga
know.
and stretching, but it was really nice today. I got at least to hear about a side of you I've never had before,
You're
and it
right.
was really nice to see how that has been very impactful in terms of the life decisions you've had to make and even the lives you've influenced. So
Hmm.
thank you so much for that time. I don't want to keep you longer than unnecessary because I know you have to attend to mom there.
Yeah,
So
they're knocking on the door. I'm coming.
yeah.
They're like, you
All
for
right,
an
so you
hour.
can
No,
you know the
thank
drill. You can
you.
sign out real quick and then you can
Okay.
drop at your pleasure. Yeah.
Okay. I'll probably join back in the chat in just a bit because I know you'll probably go for another 8 hours. I love you all. Have a blessed day, morning, afternoon, or evening on purpose, wherever you may be in the world. It's Drena from Drena's Haven 916 and Alternative Life Solutions. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Drina. Thank you so much.